The three brothers were speechless at the unusual and heroic appearance of Valdor. However, they seemed to understand that something extraordinary was about to happen, and they nodded their heads in a panic. Not only the three brothers but also everyone was pressured by the serious atmosphere of Valdor. What is about to happen is a battle of mythical proportions. We must be witnesses to the battle and pass it on to the next generation. The atmosphere of Valdor was unusually serious, which impressed not only Xian and the others, but also Luminous. Well, only Luminous was a bit skeptical. As a matter of fact, she was right on the mark. Cuckoo, now I look pretty good. Everyone is amazed at my brave figure. This is it. This is what I've been waiting for. Valdor was thinking of something that would ruin the atmosphere. It is fortunate for everyone that no one noticed Valdor's true intentions. The myth is reenacted. Dagruel, the incarnation of tyranny, and Valdor, the incarnation of a windstorm. The common element in their powers is thunder. Dagruel can manipulate the difference in electric potential between the atmosphere and the earth at will, thanks to his own supernatural ability. Therefore, he is able to use lightning, the most powerful means of attack in the natural world, and the same is true for Valdor. Valdor can generate lightning naturally by circulating its own energy. Inevitably, both Valdor and Valdor were highly resistant to lightning. Therefore, it would be meaningless to just hit each other with lightning blasts. Yet, Valdor and Dagruel converted each other's fighting aura into lightning and hit each other. The lightning, which is so powerful that it can obliterate an army of 10,000 men in an instant, dissipates in the air, unable to even touch each other's skin. This was the result of the barrier they were wearing, which caused the different energies to interfere with each other, and create a vast column of lightning over a vast area of the battlefield. Within a few minutes, the battlefield became a screaming inferno. Both sides had set up defensive positions in advance, so there were no casualties. However, they were so exhausted that it was difficult for them to maintain their defensive positions. They thought to each other, this is not good. We would not be able to witness the myth, but we would all perish as collateral damage. As soon as Luminous realized this, she shouted, "Evil dragon. This is why I don't like people who don't know how to take it easy." It's no use complaining, but Luminous is very harsh because of the trouble she has suffered from Valdor many times. It was just a way of venting her frustration, but someone else responded to her. I understand. If our generals get really violent, it's not good for the people below us. It was bizarre. They were worried about the strength of the defense barrier they had built by themselves, so they approached the Luminous group, thinking of using them as a shield. As the barrier of the two camps made contact with each other, Luminous' complaint was heard. Basara just muttered a few words in agreement. He did not think that Luminous could hear him, and he had no other intention. However, Luminous was a Hellier. She noticed Basara's reply and glanced at him. If this continues, there will be insufficient output, and both sides will be unable to maintain the barrier. If that happens, only a few will survive. The Titans will be wiped out, even if their own camp is not. Luminous does not want to exterminate the Titans. She and Dagruel are on bad terms, but that is because of a grudge. She thinks that it would be bad for her sleep to take all of them with him in their quarrel. We wanted to save the lives we could, if possible. There was only one chance that all of us could survive. There was a moment of hesitation. Luminous decides to speak to Basara. Basara, I have a proposal for you, since I believe you are brave enough to defeat Lewis and Gunther. It was a thought that echoed through the minds of the entire army. This meant that the negotiations were taking place in a situation where even the ends of both camps were listening. Basara steeled himself against answering carelessly. I'm listening, blood-sucking demon queen. You must cooperate with me. What? We must all form a defensive formation. We'll need to gather all of our strength and have Xian reinforce it. This was the answer that Luminous came up with. On this battlefield, it is difficult for people who have been enemies to suddenly cooperate with each other. However, if we do not do it, we will all die. Basara understood this. I say this is a proposal, but in effect, it is our salvation. If only the Luminous with Xian could survive, they might be able to survive. Certainly, it will be easier if Basara and the others cooperate. Even considering that, it was not enough reason to help their archenemy. I mean, it would be better to take advantage of the situation and get rid of us. And yet, this queen is so kind. We're no match for her, Basara thought. I'll be glad to take you up on your offer. You fellows have nothing to complain about. The Titans responded. Thus, Lumina's proposal is unanimously accepted. Thus, everyone survives. Dagruel manipulates waves at will. Shaking the earth can cause earthquakes, and shaking the atmosphere can generate electrical discharges. It is also easy to create a vacuum wave by intentionally manipulating air currents. However, this does not work with Valdor. It is natural. Valdor, after all, is an incarnation of a windstorm. Dagruel is well aware of this, and there is nothing to panic about now. They had been quarreling with each other for many years, and they knew each other's nature very well. Nevertheless, the story is different from now on. With his own full power, now that he had become a part of the Trinity Dagruel, he thought he would have the upper hand against Valdor. Come to think of it, this is the first time I've tested this power on you. I must tell you, I'm not the same as I used to be. Give me that. I've prepared an excuse for you if I lose. It was the first time that Dagruel had released his true power since his defeat at the hands of Veldanava. Even if Fen had not been sealed, he would not have needed his power. Dagruel himself is that strong. But now that he has become an Assure, even his former self seems small. Dagruel realizes that his blood is boiling and he is excited. Now was the time to face off against his longtime opponent. He was convinced that Valdor, once his equal, was no match for the Trinity. Magic would not work. Now that he had 3 faces and 6 arms, he had no blind spot. Even before that, his body, which has reached the highest hardness, even surpassing that of a Vajra stone by his hardening ability, can repel any attack. For example, even if a glassard with a mythical great body attacked the current Trinity, Assure, it would not be able to inflict even a single wound on him. That is how invincible Dagruel is now. So, he says arrogantly, "Let me have some fun, Valdor." To which Valdor replied with a laugh. "Quahahaha. Stop laughing. Bark when you win." Even in front of Dagruel, Valdor was the same as usual. No fear, no pride, no overconfidence in his own strength. He was simply and genuinely ready for battle. It was the way of a warrior. Valdor understands this. If he loses, Luminous and Xion will not survive either. Valdor will not allow it. Now that he has a burden to bear, Valdor is serious despite his playfulness. The battle that began in this way resembled a great battle of monsters. Valdor shoots a monstrous ray of light thunderstorm from its mouth. He charged magicule particles compressed inside his body and shot them out as a cannonball. Accelerated to sublight speed, it was as powerful as a charged particle cannon. Naturally, it was impossible to avoid it, and just as it was about to hit Dagruel with a discharge after passing by, it was grabbed by one of Dagruel's outstretched arms and vanished. "You are so boring, Valdor. This kind of trick won't work on me." Dagruel's words were not intended as an insult, but as his true intention. Valdor's superb attack was no threat to Dagruel, who had become the Trinity, Assure. But Valdor was no slouch either. He did not care about Dagruel's words and moved on to the next move as planned. In other words, using Thunderstorm as a decoy, Valdor creates his own split body with his ultimate skill Chaos King Nyarlathotep, and goes behind Dagruel's back. In Valdor's case, although he cannot deploy as many split bodies at the same time as her sister Velgrin did, she can deploy them many times. Since he can use split bodies that have the same combat ability as him as his pawns, there was no doubt that his split bodies were extremely dangerous and vicious. The dragon claws of Valdor's split body close in on Dagruel. This is the real deal. Take a bite, Dragon Claw. The name of the move is just as it sounds, but its power is guaranteed. Valdor's dragon claws were released at ultra-high speed, and although they were small enough to fit the dragon's huge body, they had the ability to tear apart any matter in the world. The claws of Valdor's 6 fingers on his left hand slashed at Dagruel with a bewitching purple glow. Dagruel's hardening ability and Valdor's splitting ability collide, and the world makes a creaking sound. Impact, and arms disappearing. One of Dagruel's arms that blocked Valdor's claw has vanished, and Valdor's left fist, which had done so, has vanished as well. It was a blow. In Valdor's case, however, it was only one arm of split body. It was not much damage. However, Dagruel was not defeated either. One of his lost arms was regenerated in an instant. Damn. I've just damaged your unreasonably strong body, but it regenerates after all. Spit it out, Valdor. I'm truly surprised that you'd wound me now. They complain about each other's unreasonableness. Valdor is annoyed that his supposedly deadly blow had little effect. Dagruel, on the other hand, is feeling abhorrent because his invincible body, of which he had been so proud, has been so easily damaged. As if they had been longtime rivals, they were in perfect sync. They were in the mood for a small test. As if the real work was just beginning, their attacks became more and more severe. This is no time to enjoy the battle, Valdor finally thinks.